What's up? How you doing? Here we are, Tuesday. Nice, cool tonight, a little bit cool. Got the Cleaver here. Drinking Arnold Palmer from Starbucks. Love this beverage. I don't really use a Cleaver that often, but occasionally there's a bone you have to get through, and this one will go right through. It's very good quality, solid steel, full tang, goes right through. Good steel. I remember in the movie Escape from Alcatraz, there's a guy in prison who likes to draw. He's an artist, and he's got privileges. They gave him privileges to draw. I guess he's a good behavior guy, and so he can paint in there. He's got the paper, the paint, everything, and he's very good. But one day he paints an image of the warden, and the warden did not like that for whatever reason, and he took the privileges away. Well, the old man got depressed, and he took a hatchet or something like that, but a cleaver will do the job. And he put his hand on the counter and he cut his fingers off in the movie, and then they take him away and the fingers are left behind. Back then they couldn't reattach them. I always remember that. I'm a big fan of that movie, big fan of Alcatraz. I went to San Francisco years ago just to see Alcatraz, and I did. Today I went to Wendy's, went through the drive-through, was busy. When I finally got to the window to pay, I noticed a sign that said hours of operation, and it must be because people associate 12 with a different AM PM thing, but when I looked at it, it said open 7 a.m. to 12 p.m. and in reality they're not open till noontime. They don't say, okay, it's busy now, shut down. They're open till 12 midnight, which is 12 a.m., but they listed as p.m. That's a go-kart, little go-kart there. He's going home. Anyway, so I found that funny. It's like people think 12 p.m. is nighttime because there's no sun, so it must be p.m. 12 at midnight is a.m. 12 p.m. is noontime, but that's what they had. They had open 7 a.m. to 12 p.m. So anyway, kind of reminded me today of when I was a kid. My father and I, we would go, especially in the wintertime, they would salt the streets, the snow and everything, and once a week we would go to the car wash. Big car wash. My father would say, get in the station wagon, we're going to go wash the car. It'll be cold out. And when you get to the car wash, they tell you to get out, and then they'd have a professional driver drive it through, because apparently, it took skill to get the tire right in the right spot. So they'd go through there, and then my father would pay a little bit extra for the inside cleaning. And they had a facility that you would go to, which was like 30 feet away, and you'd go in this glass room and you'd wait. It was cold in there. You'd wait with 5-6 other people, and they clean your car inside with nice smelling spray, and they knew at this place that my father had a horn. There was a custom horn. You'd hit the steering wheel and it would play a tune. So at the end, when the guy would finish, my father would say he's going to hit the horn now, and every time the guy would hit the horn, liked it, and then we'd go get the car. My father would give him a little tip, and we'd leave. And this was in a black neighborhood, so further down, maybe a mile or so, we'd make a pit stop. And in this same neighborhood, there was a steak and cheese steak place. And I've never ever in my life have had better cheesesteak than the cheesesteak I had in this place. It was the best. I mean, it was like, and I've been to Philly. I've had Philadelphia cheesesteak, and this place was like 100 times better, maybe even more than that. So we'd go in there. It was 2 black guys that were, I don't know, the way I'm thinking about it now, they were like maybe 45, 50 years old, and it was a small place. It was like a hallway, a counter right in front of you. You had about 3 feet of space in between the counter and the wall, and then the kitchen, where they did all the, the chopping up of the cheesesteak. So you'd get to the counter, my father would always say he wanted a plain steak, just wanted the steak. I would get a cheesesteak, and I don't care how big that thing was, it was not big enough. I mean, no matter how full I may have been from breakfast, I could have 2 of those, and I was little. And to this day, that place made the best cheesesteaks out of any place I've ever been to since that time. So, and I think they've closed down. They'd be very old. That was decades ago. But, you know, in today's world, somebody would have gone up to them and they would have said, hey, I'll pay you, you know, 20 grand. I'm opening up a place down the street. I want you to show me how you make these awesome cheesesteaks. They were that good, that good. I've never had better, never had better. As a matter of fact, anytime I have a cheesesteak now, or as we call them, steak and cheese, I always judge it based on the ones I had as a kid in that place. It was like a hole in the wall, little, you know, rundown place with an old sign. Remember, it was yellow with black letters. I forget the name of it, but it was a hole in the wall. If you didn't know, you'd think they would shut down. I mean, it was like old looking, like it was from the 40s there, and it might have been, who knows. But the best cheesesteak, I can't overemphasize it. It was that good. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking about it now and I can almost taste it. But that's what we would do. We'd go car wash and then cheesesteak. And I remember opening it up in the car because they didn't have a place in there to eat. It was so small. We'd go in the station wagon and I'd open it up and I'd eat it. And it was the best tasting. I mean, right now, if I could get into a DeLorean and go back in time, I would go back to that year and have a nice cheesesteak. Or steak and cheese. Yeah, I miss that place. But I don't think it's still there. You know, I mean, I don't think they sold that. I think they got old and they probably closed it. But yeah, it's very hard to find a good place like that. And I don't know how my father discovered it. I think my father was a carpenter. So he had jobs in that neighborhood, you know, working on houses and things like that, inside, interior jobs mostly. And I think probably one day he was hungry and he probably said, where can I go? And he probably saw some place and he said, I'll go in there, try it out. And that's how probably he found out, because there's a picture of my father from 1966 doing some carpentry work in that neighborhood. And probably he was hungry one day and he discovered that place. But you know, if I knew how they made that, I would buy some right now and pull out the spatula, 2 of them, and do it like they did it. Anyway, that's it. That's it. What's that guy, Guy Fieri? If they were still around, I'd call up Guy Fieri and I'd tell him, go check them out. They make the best cheesesteaks. Forget Philadelphia. Philadelphia. I've been to that place that has the world famous stuff. And it was good, but it wasn't even close to the way these guys made their cheesesteaks. Not even close.